Editor also joining us live. She's on ground there in Hiroshima. Managing editor Zaka Jacob also with me, and analyst Patikrit Payne. I request all of you all to stay with us. Zaka, how significant do you think this meeting is going to be?
It's hugely important. It's the first time that Prime Minister Modi and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will be meeting since this war began over a year ago. Clearly, Zelensky wants to impress upon neutral countries that have not taken a position against Russia in this war, to try and move the needle towards some kind of a ceasefire, some kind of a settlement. Of course, the problem is that any settlement will necessarily involve Zelensky and his government, the Ukrainian country and its people, agreeing to loss of some territory. That is the problem that's fundamentally sort of blocking the way for some kind of a peace, because as of today, Russia controls about 18% of Ukrainian land territory, which it had before the 24th of February last year. As Abhishek was mentioning a moment ago, China is trying to make a case for peace there between Russia and Ukraine. Ukrainian president might even impress upon the Indian Prime Minister to try and push Russia with whatever leverage India has with Russia. After all, India imports a hell of a lot of oil from Russia. Russia has become, through the course of this war, India's single biggest supplier of crude oil. So he will be trying to impress upon the Indian Prime Minister to try and convince Vladimir Putin, or at least move him in the direction of some kind of a ceasefire. Also, like I said, this has become existential almost for Ukraine. They cannot afford to lose this war, because if they do, they as a country, at least as it existed prior to 24th of February 2022, will not exist. So I think it is an existential question for Ukraine. As far as Russia is concerned, Putin having taken this step and taken this war this far, he does need an off-ramp, but at the same time, he also is very clear that he cannot be seen as compromising, because that would then defeat the very purpose for why he launched this special military operation in the first place. So I think, yes, it is very, very significant that Vladimir Zelensky will be meeting with Prime Minister Modi on the sidelines of G7. How much that may necessarily result in a change of stance from India, that is anyone's guess.
Sure, but it's a hugely significant meeting that is going to take place on the sidelines of the G7 summit over the weekend in Hiroshima. Maria is joining us live from there as she reports from on ground there. Now, it was, Maria, a significant decision that has come to the fore from both sides. Volodymyr Zelensky's surprise visit and meeting with the G7 leaders, and on the sidelines of that, the meeting with Prime Minister Modi. On multiple occasions in the past, Ukraine and several leaders in Ukraine have urged India to play the role of a mediator.
Yes, an Indian Prime Minister sending a message that this is not an era of war. And that is the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiling that Gandhi bust inside this Hiroshima Memorial Park, where I am right now. Let me just explain that dome which is right behind me, and I'll ask my camera person to zoom in and show that is the Genbaku dome, which means, in fact, Genbaku in Japanese means atomic bomb. And this is going to be the structure which will act as the backdrop to this very important and historic summit, which is going to begin any moment now. The G7 leaders have all arrived, and as far as those leaders who will be participating in the outreach summit, which includes India, Brazil, Australia, Comoros Island and others, they will be arriving in some time from now. But yes, as we have been saying, that meeting with Zelensky becomes particularly important, because the Ukraine side is also looking at some kind of way out of it, as Zaka was explaining. What will be that peace offering? And can Prime Minister Narendra Modi play the role of the peacemaker? Can he be that mediator between the two sides, given that leverage that India certainly has on Vladimir Putin? So, but when we move around, it will be here also at the Hiroshima Memorial Peace Park, where the leaders will be walking around, and that photograph that we have been talking about, that group of leaders photograph, will be taking place here. The reason why Hiroshima has been chosen by Prime Minister Kishida becomes important here, Poonam, because Prime Minister Kishida is from Hiroshima. He's trying to send a message not only to his constituency here in Hiroshima, that he stands with them, that that war which happened 78 years ago still remains a fresh reminder for them. The horrors of war continue to be lived through its survivors who we did speak to. He's also sending a message that can there be a world without nuclear can
Yes.
there be a world in which the world leaders can agree for a roadmap for a possible nuclear disarmament? So when we look at this doom, and I'm going to tell the viewers again the significance of it, because this is standing, and the ruins of this, it stands as a reminder, the permanent reminder of the devastation which was caused when the first atomic bomb exploded over the city on August 6, 1945.
The location of this meeting
And the
is very, very
buildings,
important.
Remains, Poonam, have been preserved,
Yes.
and it shows how it looked immediately after the blast.
Yes, remnants of war would be the background where we speak of the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, and the location is extremely significant. But what's even more significant is the conversation that Prime Minister Modi is going to be having with Volodymyr Zelensky tomorrow. From a diplomat